It's kind of been scary, honestly. You wake up in that morning, on Sunday, and you just go to work, and you don't really think anything of it. I was at work, and the only thing I heard about was like the unconscious person, and then I didn't realize it had more severity to it till I got home and I could hear the clicking of the cameras.
It's a really small town feel, lots of hills, but it seems like a really close-knit community. All of my professors and stuff that are from here, they've seemed like they've been here for a decade or longer, and they seem to know just about everybody. So I would say it's a fairly small community, even though there's roughly 20 to 25,000 people here. The officer that came by door to door, he asked if we had any sort of surveillance or if we knew about any other cameras or anything in the area. Sadly, this is an apartment building, and I'm assuming it's relatively old, so there was nothing. Luckily, the apartment sent out an email a couple days ago saying they're adding new lights, which there is a new light up there. They're going to work on installing cameras just so that if anything like this were to happen again, there's a better chance of getting footage of who did it.
It's just nerve-wracking mostly, and stressful because she's always home alone because I work in the evenings and stuff. Just surreal, almost like something out of a TV show. Not something that I would expect to be experiencing so close to home.
It seems like everyone that has been here for a while is just devastated by it. The last murder here was 2015, so 7 years ago. And so it's not something that happens frequently. It's not like we're in a big city where it's an everyday occurrence. So something like this is just sort of rare, doesn't happen often, so people aren't used to it. It's really odd because, I don't know, I've never been this close to any sort of other like crime scene before, I guess, other than like a drug bust, like walking by a house and seeing cops with like a drug bust. But that's the closest I've ever been to a crime scene. So especially one of this magnitude where I could throw a baseball from my front door to the house is just odd.
I mean, for my sister, she lives pretty much across the way. She lives in Alpha Gamma Delta. And for me, she walks to my apartment almost every day. And so the concern for me is just her walking by herself in the dark a lot now because, in the summer, it's daytime. It's not as scary. But in the dark now, for me, my concern is I just don't let her walk here by herself unless it's during the daytime, and I'll go pick her up now because I don't like her walking by herself.
No, I went to bed early that night.
Yeah.
And then I woke up to a bunch of normal, and then a couple hours later, we got a message, and there was a bunch of police here, and then that was the end of normalcy for the past week or so here. Though the day that the police were called here, about an hour or two after that, an officer came by and just went door to door along here, just asking if anybody had seen or heard anything. That's the only contact I've had with officers so far.
And then I had left for work, like around 11:45, and I never saw or heard anything.
Yeah.
The night before, I was up to like 2 and never heard anything at all, anything out of the ordinary. It's just been crazy just how quiet it's been.
Yeah.
Because we're used to having like some sort of music, hearing music when we
They
come
always
home
had
from
little
work.
gatherings, so they always had music going. So for us, we never assumed anything different.
Yeah.
Because they're so
This
used
house
to.
did.
Yeah, they
Say
always.
it's a party house.
Not necessarily. They had like small gatherings, maybe like 10 people or so, and it never really got crazy other than like the usual college student stuff. But they were actually pretty respectful, considering.
The house, occasionally there were parties that were kind of loud. Most of the time it was pretty self-contained. But yeah, as I would take my dog in and out to go to the bathroom, I would just be walking by, I would look up and I would see people in the windows almost every night, probably 4 or 5 nights a week. So there were a lot of people that went into and out of that house pretty frequently. So yeah, it was kind of a party house, but again, this whole neighborhood is sort of like a party neighborhood because it's just off campus, so you sort of don't have to follow the university rules. I hope whoever did it gets found because 4 people is not something that you just walk away from and act all normal. So whether or not the cops think there's a danger, I disagree. I think there is a danger because 4 people shows that person's dangerous. So I hope he's caught, preferably before I get back from break.
Doing this will set the tone for your day and get you moving in a positive direction. I am successful. I am confident. I am powerful. I am strong. I am getting better and better every day.
Brian Inton is live in Moscow. And Brian, you spoke with the president of the Sigma Chi fraternity house.
Yeah, Nicole, this was our very first time speaking with the president of that fraternity. You know, they've really been under the microscope because we know two of the victims were at that fraternity house a short time before the murders. The president says they are fully cooperating with the police. The flag is at half-staff at the University of Idaho Sigma Chi fraternity house, the last place victims Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin were seen alive, according to police. For the first time, we are hearing from the fraternity's president.
I knew them. He was always in the house. Xana was a good friend before, Ethan even came up. But that's all I really want to talk about right now because I actually have class here in like 15 minutes.
Sigma Chi President Reed Offson says the fraternity is cooperating with the investigation. The fraternity is about half a block from the house where the murders happened.
Does anyone know where they were during that timeline? Like, there's still this big chunk where...
As of right now, we've told Moscow PD, Idaho State Police, and the FBI all we know. We're kind of leaving it up to them to piece it together. Obviously, we don't have the utilities or resources to do it on our own, so we're just putting full faith in the officers and in the detectives doing it. But that's all I do right now.
Are there any cameras around?
Not on the phone.
Moscow police say they are investigating the time frame between 9 p.m. the night before the murders on November 12th and 1:45 a.m. when Ethan and Xana were believed to be at the Sigma Chi house. Meanwhile, detectives are not commenting on whether or not they are making significant progress in the case, only saying they have no suspects identified and will not release information at the risk of compromising the investigation.
Okay, so we're on the 13th of November, which is obviously the day of the murders, and I'm just going to walk through some of this. I'm just going to walk through it here real quick. Well, slow, quick, whatever. The weapons offense complaint, that was on Main Street, so that was down kind of Main Street, down by the Identity Apartments, right in that area. So it was someone blaring loud music and shooting off a shotgun. That was at 1 o'clock in the morning. Officers responded, no report. Guess everybody in Idaho needs a gun to shoot off, right? Controlled substance problem. 7th Street, at West 7th Street and Elm Street. Officer requested a case, report taken. It's 1:43. Now you got the alcohol offense, so he's got nothing? Okay, let me see. Controlled substance problem. Okay, so I'll have to do the 12th too. Darn it. Okay, so we got that. So there's a report taken on there. Then there's the alcohol offense, which is the Taylor Avenue, right? 301. Which... So here's the thing. This call wasn't even called in. And they're claiming it was the alcohol thing, alcohol offense, at 301 when they're obviously their cam said 254. It was 7 minutes before this call even comes in. And so they're just grabbing a hold of this. It's just, I mean, this is what they're doing to cover it up. It couldn't have been this one, because this one was later than the other one. So it couldn't, they just tagged this name on there. They just tagged it for their own. And they ignored the other one. If it was, okay, and I keep claiming this, you guys have heard me over and over again, there was a 911 call that came in because I saw it was in a newspaper clip. And I'm still hunting it down. I'm slowly but surely going through my albums here. I will find that dang thing, but I haven't seen it anywhere else ever again. I've not heard anybody talk about it. I'm the only one that I've heard even talk about it, so it feels kind of weird, kind of lonely out there. Anyway, so either Oh, not either. I mean, I saw it, so I know. But it also could be, who knows what they called something in, you know what I mean? For a, just for them to be okay to be there. But then, of course, the alcohol thing came across, then they jumped on that one. I mean, I don't know. It just seems fishy. I mean, it's the wrong time. And then they, of course, do the wrong time on the next one. And this is them, because Atlanta's got the cam for it. And it's at South Main Street and Identity Apartments. And that is the guy from the grub truck, in sweater, that was talking to Joe. This is at 3:38, but their body cams say 3:34, I believe. And also the timeline doesn't work on this one. The timeline says they, I think it's at 3:34 or 3:36, where they completed their, oh no, it must have been 3:8. It must have been 3:34. And it says they completed their, the alcohol offense ticketing stuff, whatever. And then they left that area at 3:34 and cruised. And it would be about right. I mean, it actually would, they'd actually have a little bit of time in between, maybe a minute or so, before they got to this Identity Apartment, where it says 3:38. But the thing is their body cams say 3:34. So both those timelines are wrong. Both of them are wrong. What Moscow police are giving us, they're wrong. I mean, this is so, nothing has been legit. I mean, nothing has been documented to be truthful. They've changed it, or it's just not right, or it's contradicting itself right here. Anyway, report taken on that one. These guys, they stole some sign or whatever. Okay, so at 8:44 in the morning, you've got a civil call, so 400 block of West 6th Street, and that is requesting civil standby with old roommate. No orders currently. RP did file a protection order on Friday. Officers responded, no report. So this is curious, because as time goes, so in the reports following this, there are lots of issues with this right here. And that was on 6th. Well, there's one on White. There's one on White. There's one on Taylor, or they're really close around there. I can't remember exactly which ones, but there's like 2 or 3 different ones with female, and they're females, like being, the guys are kicking them to the curb or something. Anyway, then you got a parking problem, Troy Road, and this is at McDonald's. This is right there. Right, gas station caught the car allegedly, and the Identity Apartments were right there. So it's a parking problem. Vehicles parked in handicap without a placard. Officer advised, no report. And away with all that. Okay, suspicious person. And this was at 10:54. So 11 o'clock, right? This is only like not too long before they're going to be, finding out what happened at the house. But it's on Rayburn Street, and it's a U of I College of Law. And it's a vehicle parked with door wide open in a parking lot. Officers responded, no report. So here's another thing where someone just, leaves their car there, doors open. Sometimes they even leave their backpacks and their purses. I mean, who does this, you guys? Unless they've been beamed up, I'm telling you, or kidnapped. Narcotics canine search, East D Street and North Main Street, right down there. 11:33. So this was 10. This is like a half hour later. Requested case, no report. Of course, then here we go. This is the same thing. They just brought the canine there the first time, then they came back and they issued a report taken. And this was 11:13. But look, they put it opposite each other. It should be 11:13 where the 11:33 is, and the 1113 right here. Also, what I find interesting is the numbers on these times that are given on here. They're all like duped, except for that one. And that one. But like the 8:44, like the 3:38. I mean, and there's a lot of threes. Look at this. It's just one after the other. There's so many threes in here, and I don't know. It just feels weird. It feels kind of strange. Okay, so that's the law one. Canine search, got that one. Homicide. So here's a 1100 block of King Road. So they don't give the actual address. At 11:56. So wasn't it 11:58? I could be wrong. I thought it was 11:58, but complaint of complaint of unconscious person. Officers and EMS responded. Coroner and detective notified. Report taken. So the timeline on this, it says that the officer got there at 11:58. So look at this. So it's the call comes in at 11:56. This is how close the cop shop is to King Road, to this house. They got there in 2 minutes from the time the call came in from the 911 call and getting to the house. It was 2 minutes. They got there 11:58. So at 12 o'clock on the timeline that the MPD gives, 4 students, they said students, they didn't know, I mean, how could you tell who they were and who declared this? So it was determined that at noon, that 12, up to 12, 4 students were found dead or declared dead, something like that. I'm like, or deceased. I'm like, what? Who, first of all, a cop, I don't think a cop can do that. Second of all, the coroner doesn't get there till 5:30. I mean, all right. So then you've got a suspicious person. So mind you, okay, so here's the thing. Allegedly, no one's supposed to know about this, right? Not anybody around, what really happened, not how they were killed, or even who was in there that was, I mean, nothing went out, no reports went out until later that night. I think it was like 6 o'clock or something, maybe even a little bit later, 6:30. So that's when those went out, PM that night. But get these reports that are coming in very soon after this. So I think 14 is like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. I'm not really sure, but suspicious person. So 14:08, report of possible drug dealing. Officer made contact, no report. It doesn't even say where. When they don't want to tell you, they just put Moscow down there. Here's another one, Moscow. Request to check for homeless female who made suicidal statement. Officers responded, no report. I'm almost feeling like this is Kara. I feel like this is Kara. I do not know why, but I always have. And I don't know if she's actually homeless or if she looks homeless, really, in my opinion. She looks really haggard and just tired and used up, just, sick, sad. It's very sad, but it's the way it is. So I'm wondering about this one. Okay, then we've got theft other, Pullman Road Walmart. Female who had stolen from them a few weeks ago just left the store in a vehicle, did not steal today. Officer advised, no report. Is this just something to, use their time up? To stray them away from what's going on elsewhere? I mean, because a female who's stolen from there a few weeks ago left the store in a vehicle. So what? Why are you calling that in? She didn't steal anything today. What the hell's the problem? Civil calls, 1600 block of Levick Street. We've got a neighbor's RP has an order with spoke to daughter. Unsure what they said. Children are on the order as well. Officer responded, no report. I do not know what that means, but it sounds like, yeah, like they weren't supposed to talk to them, whatever they were, I don't know. Welfare check, 2300 block of White Avenue. Requesting, so this is 17, so what, that'd be like 5 o'clock maybe? 12, I think 5. Requesting a welfare check on a female she hasn't heard from in 2 days. Officer advised, no report. So people are already starting to check on people because of the murder. I believe they're wondering, oh my God, I haven't heard from her for a couple of days. Maybe or they heard about it. They didn't release names yet, so maybe that was it. And so now they're getting worried, right? Civil call. Request assistance for civil matter regarding a vehicle title. Officer advised, no report. This one just rubs me wrong, just because we always hear about VIN numbers and things like that. You don't rarely hear about regarding a vehicle title. That's just kind of weird, and it's kind of strange on this day too, because all the vehicles that were surrounding this whole thing. Yeah. So suspicious person, another 2000 block of White Avenue, requesting assistance locating a dog that was dropped off at shelter. Officer responded, computer report. Okay. This has to be Murphy, right? Obviously. I mean, in my opinion. Stray animals. 500 block, North Van Buren. And this was like, look at the time, so it's like a couple hours later. Stray dog in custody. Officer responded, report taken. Well, this isn't the full report. I wrote down the full report. I've got it in one of my emails, so I will read that to you in a little bit. Once I find it, once I get done with this, I'll read it to you. So then the officer problem, animal officer, Freudian slip, animal problem complaint at Crittman Hospital at the ER. RP reporting a dog that's been locked in a car for at least a few hours. Officer responded, no report. I think someone got bit that night, so I think, or that morning, so I do believe that this is one of those reports that did mention a dog bite, but it's gone now. You can't find it, and I'm just wondering if this is what they replaced it with. Yeah. So then you got suspicious person at the Identity Apartments again, same place that the sign that the officers were there at 338. You know, after Banfield, this is where they went. Male standing near bike rack looked like he was trying to hide. Area checked. Officer responded. No report. Unconscious person. So we've got 1450 North Mountain View Road. North View, Mountain View Park Place. Time reported. Okay, Delta. Police and EMS responded. One transported. Female in and out of consciousness at the location. In a vehicle refusing to roll down the window and is moaning. Okay, so here, I'm going to let my cat out. Here is where you need to kind of read between the lines. Because I didn't notice this. I've read this a zillion times. And I just, tonight, as I was reading it, I was like, what? Wait a minute, let me read that again. So it says, police and EMS responded. One transported. And then it says, female in and out of consciousness at this location in a vehicle, refused to roll down the window and is moaning. This means there was two people, you guys. This means there was not just one, because one was transported and one was a female that would not roll her window down in the vehicle. And I swear I never even realized this till tonight. I was like, you got to be kidding me. There was two people. Okay, so we've got, and this one we're going to go back to. This is the one I want to address tonight. This is what corresponds with what Jeremy said. Domestic dispute. We got 500 block of Taylor, where all this went down. People are getting they're getting scared. They're like knowing what happened. They're lashing out. Complaint of dispute. Parties separated. Officer responded. No report. Wonder which officers went there to break it up. We got a noise complaint. 400 block of South Lily. Loud bass and music coming from this location. Ongoing issue. It's been a problem. No report. Noise complaint off Levick. Reporting loud banging upstairs. Ongoing issue. Been going on for the past hour or two. No report. Okay, I'm going to pause you for a second because my cat wants me to play. We play when the light comes through the window perfectly and it hits my phone screen and it's on the wall. It looks like a flying saucer because it's her favorite time of night. So, actually I'm a little bit late, but it'll work. Okay, I will be back. Okay, I don't know if it's going to let me record this or not, but anyway, I popped in the address of it was 1450 North Mountain View Road, which is where those two people were found. One was transported, one lady was in the car going in and out of consciousness. And so it tracks back to the Trail Family LLC. And if you notice, it's kind of interesting. I mean, look at this. This is like, look at all this land. It's all the Trail LLC. Lot. And you've got pop it back there and make sure it gets to the right place here. Okay, so that little plus sign right there shows you where you're at. So if you move down here, so that's the Logos field. So that's the church's Logos field, I guess. I don't know what that is, but it's like one of their schools maybe. So one thing too about the church is when they open up these schools, they have their own schools, and they have their own churches and all this stuff, they're exempt. They don't pay taxes. So that's free and clear. So, and that's 85, it's like almost, look at that, how much money that, it's like 8, yeah. Pretty penny. But there's, I mean, that's City of Moscow right there, but literally there's like tons of stuff, you know, you can just, this thing is really cool. It's, I mean, it's legit, and it's amazing what you can see, because it is. So when you put it on here, so the road wherever this person was found, it was like right. They're saying it was like kind of right here. Okay, you're gonna see this orange line right there. Okay, And so this land is the Trail Family LLC, North Mountain View. But down here is where, like, they typically, like, will be the owner's, the mailing address for the person that owns this land. So you can go to 1310 Yeoman's Lane, and it says not owner occupied, but you never, it's sometimes the person is there. So 1310 Yeoman's. So that's also right there. That's the trail. So this is David. So David is the one I was telling you about that was killed in 2015. It was a stray bullet from a shooter. He went to Arby's. I'm going to show you the story anyway. But so this is Susanna G, who I'm not saying this is who that was, the person that was there. I'm just saying that the land or wherever they found this person was on this person's property. And so I don't know. Yeah. So this one, so it shows the owner occupied. So the person does live here. And sometimes they do that. So, but anyway, Mountain View, I'm trying to think of where King is from Mountain View. Let's see, put in that.
I am grateful for everything I have in my life. I am independent and self-sufficient. I can be whatever I want to be.
Takes you right on down there. So one thing interesting about this, so you've got the key. So right here, where the King Apartment LLC, that's not the same as the King. I don't know why it just took me there. That's interesting. 1122 King. Oh, let me do it like this. Maybe that's why. Okay, there, it took me there. But see, but over here, there's another King. It's a King Apartment LLC, and it's literally right next door to the Taylor Apartments. Did you see that? It's crazy. So if you look down here, these are the King LLCs. This is the ones that Dan Etsy owns. Keep going. Right there, right on the corner of King Road. So you're going to turn off a Taylor. You're going to take a left on King Road, and on your left, right on King Road, those apartments there are owned by King Apartment LLC. If you go down here, see who that is. So this is someone in Coeur d'Alene, and this is not the one who owns the King LLC, because that's Dan Etsy. Dan Etsy's and it shows his in Colorado. So let me see what this one is. It's 3975 South Booth Park Road. No matter how much I know, and I've had to spell Coeur d'Alene a zillion times, I never ever get it right. It's so weird. I've got a brain, hemp whatever with it. So this is a South Booth. All right, there, good. I didn't have to spell it. Okay, so this goes to the. Okay, this is crazier. All right, this is kind of nuts. All right, Lana might want to know about this one. So this goes to the McPhee Living Trust, and she was just telling a story about some girl who was dumped into the Coeur d'Alene Lake a while back. It's been a while, but anyway. So that's their lot number. So it's literally right on the water. That's got to be worth a pretty penny. Look at that. It's worth $1.5 million. Holy crap! I want to see what it looks like. Let's see. And the owner occupied, so the owner does live there. And that's who owns. This is the person who owns that King Apartment LLC. Interesting. I mean, Dan Etsy doesn't even live in a house that's that. So let me see if I can go here. I think you can. Layers, satellite, or like that. Okay, satellite. Here's. Okay. Let me see if I can turn this sideways. Well, I won't do it because I'm recording, so. But this is it right here. Wow. Well, you got to think too. It's right on the water there, so all these houses are going to be really, big lake houses. This is one thing about this app; it covers this stuff up, and it drives me crazy when it does that. So you got to kind of go down below it. But anyway, I haven't played with it too much, but it's a pretty cool app. But look at that right there, man! Look at that. Oh, they have a nice little speedboat. Nice. So, okay. So that's that. And so this is, like I said, this is where that person, those two people were found. This Trail family land, which, goes, it just connects Dave Trail. So this is what's really interesting, is that because of Dave Trail, of him being killed in from a stray bullet. So I'm going to show you that and show you a little story on that one.